All right, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Let's go ahead and start with this week's BMA broad market analysis. We'll be covering the dates of the 19th through the 23rd. Today is a holiday, and so you're seeing some abbreviated futures trading. I don't wish to trade during these times. And so I'll be back tonight to see if we get some sort of setup. So we'll talk about the futures towards the end of this video. But for right now, again, we are covering the days of the 19th through the 23rd. Let's go ahead and get started. So earnings that are coming up for this week, you guys can see. I've circled a couple that am interested in. Doesn't mean I'm going to do anything. We had a FedEx trade this past week. I went ahead and closed it because we do have earnings after the close tomorrow. And Lazy Boy as well, Winnebago, and then KB Homes. That's another name I'm interested in. Just always interested in how the housing market is doing, and especially commercial homes like KB Homes. Then on Thursday, not much here that I'm interested in. And on Friday, just interested how CarMax is doing. Since car prices didn't really lose value for the last couple of years, I'm kind of interested how these guys start doing. So, anyways, this is what we're expecting for earnings. And then coming over here, it's all about Fed Powell. I see that he's on here twice this week, Wednesday at 10. He does testify to the House panel. And then over here on Thursday, so 2 days in a row, another testify at 10 o'clock. And again, these are Eastern time, so I'm on Central, so I'd be looking at this to come through the market 30 minutes after open. So be careful on these days, especially because it's 30 minutes after the open. Beware. We'll be coaching, obviously. I'll be on the mic with you guys trading live. And we'll make sure we're just aware of that. As far as anything else, you have Home Builder Confidence Index that came out this morning. We had New York Fed President John Williams speaks tomorrow at 11:45 Eastern and 8:30. We do have housing starts. Thursday, on top of a Fed chair, we have initial jobless claims, U.S. current account, existing home sales, and then Friday, S&P Flash Services PMI. Next thing I want to go over is last week's neutral strategy. Remember, we used the same charts from the previous weeks, so we had these for 2 weeks. This circle shows you where we started the week. So you can see we have buy signals. We're above the cloud. Everything looked great. Not only did you hit T1, T2, T3, and T4, you actually got some extra there to the upside. And over here on the QQQs, same thing. We started off with some buy signals. We were above the trendy cloud. You see we came back and supported that. No matter how you look at this, you want to stay long as price is staying above that cloud. Now, you can see that we are starting to go inside and down on the Qs, and we'll cover that on the Q or on the bigger picture, but we'll also cover that in the futures as well. Not a bad strategy if you guys took this. Things looked really good to the upside this past week. Going into this week, these are our neutral strategies for this week. I'm pointing out imbalances in the market, and in the back of my head I'm thinking Jerome testifies twice. There is definitely a possibility for that pullback into the imbalance. Matter of fact, I've been eyeing these since we created them. These big chaotic candles, those are always interest if we start to pull back. I'd expect buyers to show up in these areas. So on the SPY, you can see that coming down right around where the 435.70 or short trigger is. So just beware if we do get down there. I'm actually looking for buying opportunities somewhere between 435 and 433. But again, I'll be paying attention to the TTM Squeeze Pro and looking at a few other factors if I do decide to get long there. If for some reason price really breaks through quickly, again, we'd be looking for 433.80, 431.76, and then right there at 429.78. Now notice I gave you 4 targets to the downside on both of these. I just personally like the reward to the downside versus the upside for right now, but there definitely is room for us to continue moving to the upside if we find buyers this week. It is a short week, not my favorite when we come into short weeks. Typically it's a little choppy and not a whole lot going on. These are the targets that I want you to pay attention to. If you do not know how to trade my neutral strategy, it's right on my YouTube page. It's a quick 3 to 4 minute video. Make sure you watch it. Basically, the upside, if we're going long, these are our trigger longs. All right, and the trigger short is the red line. and your targets are to the upside versus downside. And basically, what you do when you get to those targets is you trim and you pull those stops up. Now, for aggressive traders, you can stay short inside the neutral zone as long as we don't break above here. You keep short and you try to short down into the red line itself. This is where we'd expect buyers. Down here on the QQQ, if we find buyers down here, then you could be looking at trying to go long in the neutral to the upside until we get right here, and then you would be careful right around 370 and 372. Okay. All right, so that's SPY and QQQ. Over here, bigger picture, this is where it's all at. This is where it's been for a very long time. Notice here on the update for 619, this is your SPY. This is a quarterly chart. Price very close to the quarterly supply. Keep in mind, ES Futures did hit some supply. So this small pullback is a result of that. Immediate support is 434 by 30. Basically, what I'm using is a 23-38% of this current quarterly candle. And so again, that is your immediate support, but your long-term support remains now at the 23.6, which is that red line there, which comes in at 424.62. Overall, things look great. Also, keep in mind that your quarterly closes 11 days and 5 hours from now. QQQ, bigger picture, today's update. Price has reached the quarterly supply. So again, it's been outpacing the SPY. We know that. And know that the immediate support is now 362.11. Basically what I did, I know you can't see it underneath this 11-day tag right here, but right underneath that is the target that we had to the upside. We surpassed that target. Now that becomes your immediate support. Your long-term support is the cloud or 310. So again, right here, 310. And then underneath that, just so you know, and I would hope that you know this, that if we break down below this white line, again, which is 362.11, you could see 346.87. All right. Let's go ahead and move into our next chart. This is your dollar or the DXY. My update for 619 on the monthly. Notice prices inside the previous month's body. That's just setting up for an inside candle. We could see an inside and up or down into the next month. And so because it's an inside and we only have 11 days left, I am anticipating for this to be an inside month. So therefore, I don't expect price to get over 104.40, and I don't expect it to drop below 101.60. And again, there's 11 more days left. Let's go ahead and go over here. This is your skew. I really hit on this hard last week and said, hey, I want to be protective. Today's notes. Last week, I reduced my exposure long. You guys saw that I closed a lot of positions, I felt like, compared to what I've had in the past. My put hedges are negative right now. Again, this is a trade that I take based off of supply, the skew. Timing is the variable. It's never something I take and expect results immediately. So again, I'm just kind of sitting on that hedge. It is negative. It is smaller. It's okay. And I did start a short in Google. We added to that. We ended up making money. And if you didn't know, I did a video on Friday. It's on your page there, your dashboard. And so make sure you check that out. It's a review of last week, how we did, like our alerts go, my worst trade, my best trade, and so forth. So please go over there and check that out. But you also will notice that we added to those puts. We closed almost at 40%. Sorry, we trimmed at 40%, and I still have some remaining puts there. I do have some long exposure, but again, my cash now is about 98%. So I'm 98% cash at the moment. Again, this is timing is a variable. I could be completely wrong. The market can stay up here. You could see it did that back in 2021, where a lot of folks felt like the market needed to pull back. That could be the same case here, but that's why I'm approaching it smaller and just kind of having fun with this stuff. And if we start to find bids and Jerome becomes bullish again, obviously we'll coach and we'll intraday trade until proven otherwise, but all is going well. Let's go ahead and move on. This is your ES futures. This is your weekly chart right here. I have changed some levels, so please annotate and understand what we're looking at. So we have the support, the immediate support on your ES futures at 44.22 by 43.62. And then below that, always important to note that your 9 EMA is down there in case we get some kind of flush or we break that support. I would expect that to come into a key area where you will find buyers coming in. Underneath that, notice that I have a trend change. This is pretty neat. That's the 618, the range that I drew from, which I believe was from here into here. So again, the 618 or the golden fib, if we break down below that, I would expect an immediate trend change and things will start to look kind of ugly for the bulls. But notice that it also comes in around the trendy edge. So again, trendy edge, 618, 9 EMA. For some reason, we get some ugly pullback this week. This is where I would expect bulls to show up. And so don't get too FOMO'd into the put side down here. Again, key level. Please take note. Over here on the daily, notice we do have new triggers. Always pay attention to this. When price hits these levels, folks, drop to a lower time frame. Again, anything from a 1 to 5 minute. We watch the TTM squeeze. I go over that with you. You know exactly what I'm looking for. Also note here on the daily, we are going inside and down. This is not like, this is just the beginning of an inside and down. This is not a strong candle down. I don't want you to be fearful by any means. Just understand that it is creating that formation, and it could end up looking like this, a little slight pullback. We had the 9 EMA down here around your first trigger at around 44.18. Doesn't have to be perfect. Don't be a D for a T. If it gets close to that, again, could be looking to go long. Just switch over to your 1 to 5 minutes. Look for those details I teach you. What else could I say about this? Okay, so your resistance line, or that yellow line there, I want you to be careful right in here. There's just some edges up here. And again, in order for bulls to continue to the upside, I'm not super bullish unless we get down here to the greens triggers or we start taking out the highs. Everything else between is just kind of scalping, intraday trading until proven otherwise. Over here, this is your 4-hour. This is the one that I pushed out on social media and that we traded quite a bit. I did not change anything. I left the euphoric zone here. You can see that it's working really well. Matter of fact, it's giving you like 40 points to the downside. But I did make some annotations. Although we did have these zones last week, and this zone worked perfectly, and then it pushed into this zone. So that stuff worked great. I want to just highlight that we still have demand areas and imbalances that we talked about. So these bigger candles, these buy signals are helping you identify those zones. And Jerome testifies 2 times this week. Possible if he says something to spook the market, these are areas of interest. So please, again, take note of that. And I have downloaded these in the room folder. All of these charts are in there so that you guys can copy them and so forth. Notice that your resistance is right up here at the weekly edge. And notice down here that in the demand zone, your weekly edge is there as well. Let's go ahead and move on. This is going to be the NASDAQ. I changed this up a little bit. So the supply zone is still the same. Your immediate support now becomes that anterior line that we had for supply. So we passed right through it. Right, we had that little gap on the rollover. Now that becomes your immediate support. So 14,848 by 14,577 from a weekly perspective. Again, guys, remember, weekly, I'm waiting for weekly candles to close. So even if like something were to drop pretty deep, again, you won't know until Friday if this support holds. If for some reason we break down, big time, then I would look for 14,000 by 13,527. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. This is going to be your next chart. Same thing here on the daily. You have an inside and down forming. You have a 9 EMA. You can see I took the edges. I used those as resistance. So that's immediate resistance, if you will. And far as this goes, the short trigger, your top is in. That's how I feel in the market. The top is in until proven otherwise. So that doesn't mean that I'm like, full blown bear mode. I'm going short everything. It doesn't mean that I won't take longs this week. All it means is that I'm not proven wrong until prices can bid over the highs, and then we can create a base there. So it really comes down to where do we close by the end of this short week. If we close above that high, great, we're creating a base. If not, again, I'm expecting prices to pull back to the lower triggers. This is going to be your 4-hour. I'm just highlighting the imbalance in the market. You can see that here on the NASDAQ. Your resistance, I'm using the trendy edges. The support, I'm using the trendy edges. And your weekly demand comes in at 14,822. And you can see there's a gap fill down here at 14,570. And then we also have some support here at 14,389. When we open up every single morning, typically we are on 20 minutes before, so about 7:40 Central Time just kind of talking about the futures, just talking about our weekend. And then at 8 o'clock, we go into deep dive into our blueprint for the futures. And I show you where the liquidity grab areas are, the chop zones, the PMZ, which is really popular. We'll be discussing all of that. And then once I'm finished, which really takes about 15 minutes, then Melissa will pop on the mic and she will give you guys her charts that she's looking at. And from there, it's just always a great day. As you guys know, we use the API alerts. So far as like trades go, it tells you when I'm trimming, it tells you when I'm closing, it lets you know if I lost on the trade or if I made money on the trade. So other than that, we've had a really good start and I've had a really good time with every new trader in here. And I just want to say thank you again for your support. But I also don't be afraid to reach out in the room and ask questions during the trading hours. I will be happy to try to get to those questions, but also know that you can reach out to me on social media. So I'm also on Twitter, and if you guys come over, let's see if we can pull that up, just in case any of you don't know this. If you come over here to Twitter, this is me. I am Trendy John, right? So TR3NDYJON. I'm noticing since I came over to Simpler, I'm getting a lot of imposters. If you guys see anybody that's not me, the last one I saw was TR3NDYJONN. We had to report them. There's a bunch of them out there. Please, again, I'm not asking you for money on social media ever. So please, make sure you report them. All you have to do is come up and you hit these little dotted lines. It'll say report person, tell them why you're reporting them, and so forth. Let me know. But also, what I'm trying to say is make sure you follow me here. I give out some details, some nuggets every once in a while. Just because, Ashley and I like to do a thing where we're talking in the morning. We haven't been doing it every single day because I was so busy on the launch of the promotion. But we will definitely be talking more on the dock. Plus, the weather's been really horrible lately, and so because of that, we're kind of staying indoors. But we will be out there soon. I'll also give some details out here on the charts. If you guys see this stuff, please give it a like. You can retweet it as well to help other traders out there that may be looking at that stuff. Okay. You can also message me here. So if you're looking at, you want to get some answers really quick. I love answering here. It's just really quick and easy. Email, I mean, it's formal. I don't mind if you email me, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm always in front of the screens. I'm charting. I'm on Twitter. And so it's just quicker and a lot faster for me. So feel free to message me over here. Other than that, folks, once you see this video, it's going to be on YouTube. Please give it a like. Make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube. And for any other content that you might be interested in, ask me, or if there's something else you want to review, please, let me know and I will consider any of your feedback. Thank you again for all your support. I can't wait to trade with you tomorrow and hope you had a great weekend.